enjoy your day and enjoy coffee time with Pastime Comics and Collectibles.
All right.
That's a cool intro.
As I put it together, I noticed that you seem to like to travel and visit different sites quite a bit, which I loved all the pictures. So
it's quite easy to do in Europe because, like, you know, I mean, with EasyJet, you can do these quick little flights an hour or two away. You're in a completely different country with a bunch of like sites to see. So you can just kind of do weekends. I started to try and do that more because most of my traveling was like con related. So I wasn't really getting to do much viewing and visiting of places. So I had to, just for fun, get out of your...
Well, that's awesome. I enjoy going through those pictures. So, as we said, as we kind of started off, you're in Berlin. I think a big misconception is that a lot of people, even I, when we first started talking, thought you were out of Paris. Go ahead. You were about to say something?
Well, I mean, I was living, like, I had only recently moved to Berlin. So I was in France before. I wasn't in Paris. It was like in an area near Switzerland. It's like on the Geneva Lake, so it's very beautiful. But yeah, Berlin's a nice big city, but it's not super expensive. Like Paris is very expensive to live in, especially if you've got like, you know, an artist income. But Berlin is very like vibrant. A lot of people speak English here. So, and there's a lot of artists. There's a big artist community that's fun to hang out with. Do a lot of drink and draw they have a cool setup here for that. Yeah, and it's just, it's a fun place to live.
That's good. That's good to know. So there you go. When you pick up with your artistry, you can move to Berlin and do drink and draw with Sabine. So
yes.
In Berlin. Gary Duretz joined us. William, hello. Paul Lee says hello. Sabine, Brandon Heyman says hello. So we got quite a few people joining us. So first question out of the gate here from us.
Yes.
What got you inspired to start drawing comics, start drawing comic covers, and to get into this industry?
Well, I mean, like I said before, I mean, in a previous interview, I think I always wanted to draw. I was kind of interested in everything. Like at some point I was doing more kids book style stuff. And then at another point I was doing stuff for games. And so I was kind of just a bit all over the map as far as like trying everything out, seeing what was available. And I mean, I liked comics and comic books, but it did seem like a very tough industry to break into. And I think we kind of had the perfect scenario play out in that JP Ross, she wanted to break into comics. And then, so she just put a team together and then we made the product and then we went, and that's kind of how we got in. But and at that point too, when she presented that, I was in this point in my life where I was kind of in the middle of things. I didn't really have a set sort of like role yet, or wasn't really into anything in particular. So I was just like, let's go for it. Let's do it. I have nothing to lose at this point. We might as well dive in. And I always liked comics. I knew they were difficult, and it definitely was a large learning curve, but at the same time, that's what I love about art. You can be always challenged by something new. And then I started in the colors, and then of course I always wanted to draw, but it is hard to make the transition from everybody seeing you as a colorist to actually like, oh, I can draw too, because especially for doing covers too, it's a bit more of a risk for the people that are, they want the books to sell. And I think Jo was the first one. I started doing covers for her, and then it slowly, more people started seeing me as an artist as well as a colorist. I think I mainly had a name as being a colorist, so it wasn't like so many people were asking for art at that point.
And for those that don't know, Sabine, when you're talking about JP Roth,
oh yes,
that series, so that's through the Rothic brand.
Yes.
The Southern Nightgown series.
Yes, Ancient Dreams, Southern Nightgown. Ancient Dreams was our first, title that we launched, and Southern Nightgown. And then I took over, I she created the book Theory of Magic. So I drew and colored that one. That's been my like baby from the start. And then there was Rem8, and I'm trying to remember if there's another one. Yeah.
Ones I was aware of was the Southern Nightgown and the Rem8. I know I have a couple of your covers from that. So
yeah, so I started doing covers with her. I think she's the first one and then I started with Zenoscope, and then then slowly grew from there. I think more people realize, or we're liking covers, and then I got to do more.
And we have a couple questions coming in, so we will get to those. But just a real quick question. So I think most people obviously know you as a colorist that works on J. Scott Campbell's covers. How did you go about getting to the opportunity? Did he reach out to you? Did you reach out to him? How did that working progress come together?
I think it was a lot of different like pieces falling into place. From going to the conventions a lot and being a big fan of Scott Campbell, like Dawn and I, especially in the beginning, we would often like go say hi to him, hang out with them after. So you get to know them on a personal level. And then of course, his colorist at the time, Nia Rufino, would hang out with us too. And I don't know, you kind of just get to know the people and you build somewhat of a friendship with them at the conventions. And then Brett Kate at the time, he was also working with Scott a lot more, and he had also worked with Joe on the Rem8 book. So you have a lot of these links, and I think at one point Nia wasn't able to do some of the work, and so Brett was like, suggested me to Scott, and I think and then so I did a couple like tests, and then the position kind of opened up where he needed some more help with the colors, and he just started using me more. And then after that, it was kind of and then he still has like backups, like he still uses Peter Steigerwald sometimes and Ulla Moss, so it kind of lessens because he can keep us pretty busy. So it is nice that there, if for one, like if I can't take it, then Ulla takes it, so it kind of lightens the load a bit, because sometimes it's a lot of work,
right?
And if you have other projects too, but it's been great. I'm super thankful for all the little pieces that fell into place that made it possible to work with him. I mean, sometimes I'm like, I can't believe I'm working. It was like my idol. It's like great,
right? Yeah, I know when you and I were messaging back and forth a couple times, you'd go dark for a few days, and then you'd come back and be like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I was busy working on that Spider-Woman for Campbell." Or
there's these batches, and it just kind of hits, and you're just in this like he's drawing, I'm coloring, and we're kind of in this tandem sort of like back to back, because again we have different time zones too. So he finishes, and I wake up in the morning, and then it's like a bit of a a circle there.
Yep, absolutely. A couple of questions we had. Michael's wanting to know any at-home signings in the works. I know we haven't discussed that because we had originally planned to bring you in for Fan Expo, and then that got all muddled, and we're not sure if it's going to happen now in June or not. But would that be something you'd be open to, like if we sent books over to you for you to sign and send back, or what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'd be totally up for that, but I think at the moment the mail system here is a little bit like, for example, sending stuff right now to the States, the price has like shot up exponentially.
Oh, yeah.
Like I used to be able to send packets for like, 8 to 16 euros. Like I had my print packet. Now the minimum is like 56 euros because they have this like, but that would actually work, because if it goes up to 5 kilos. So it works better with larger, heavier packages. So if you send a decent amount of books, price-wise, it would probably, and you have tracking and stuff, but that's
right. Yeah,
if you're okay with that, I'm okay with that. It's just,
we would have to just negotiate it within the price, because we did a lotto signing, which those are still being held because they can't get into Italy with them right now.
Right.
But the shipping, originally they wanted to charge me $120 to ship. To ship to there, and I was able to negotiate it down and get it to about 50 or 60 bucks, something like that. But it's quite expensive to do the shipping. So, but that's all.
I mean, if you do a big batch, like at least 5 kilos or something, like here, that's the weight of that price. Yeah. normally that price for 5 kilos, it would be 36, but they tacked on like a hardship, difficult situation fee too.
Right.
So, but that's where it stands right now.
So, Michael, the answer to that question is we will see. Let's put a pin in that and we'll come back to that.
Yeah, but if not, it wouldn't be a problem if everything kind of, yeah.
Just tagging along with that, because I know the question will come up, so let's just ask it. Are you taking commissions? And if so, do you have blanks to do commissions on, or do you prefer people to mail their own blanks to you, or how do you do that?
I am trying to do a bit more. I had on my site, I had opened up a couple slots of like this black and gold kind of torso, because I'm almost finished with those. So I need to figure out a good system for opening it back up, because I can do some, but I can't do a ton. And sometimes it just, a lot of people want stuff. and because of my crazy, like sometimes work schedule, it's been difficult to sort of get around to them. But now things have slowed down a bit, which has been nice. But yeah, I do have some blanks here on hand. I think with the current mailing system, it might be easier to just, yeah. Maybe what I can do is like have some sort of deal with you that I would give you guys and people like a certain amount of commissions, and then we work it through that. That way, you know.
Whatever's easy for you. I just know people.
We can also negotiate, yeah, something. I am trying, but it's you get faster at this or something.
Oh no, believe me. We talked to several artists. I think Kale, I talked to him. He's about 6 months out right now in commissions. Alan's about 8-9 months out. So you're fine, Sabine.
Yeah, I just stopped taking them because I just felt bad. Like I just wasn't getting to them, and then I was like, and then I think I had this, like, I had started this list a long time ago, a waiting list, and I'm like, oh, it's impossible at this point to sort of like go into it because there's so many people. But I didn't take any money because I was like, I can't promise this. But I am trying to do a bit more. It just gets overwhelming very quickly. And
Understandable. And it's no pressure. If people were interested, I didn't know the best way for them to go about talking to you about that.
I'm trying to figure out a better way to do this. I can kind of slowly offer it to
Once
people.
you're ready for that, let us know and we'll put the word out there.
Yeah.
Brandon Heyman, you were talking earlier and you said that comics are difficult. He said, can you talk a little bit more about what you mean when you say comics are more difficult?
Well, I think that there is a combination, like especially for interiors, there's a combination of the time, like especially American comics, how fast to get things done. I think that there's a lot of skills that go into it. You got the drawing, the inking, and the color. So you got already 3 different like things that oftentimes people kind of divide up because it helps you to excel in it. I tend to like doing all of them. So it creates a learning curve. I mean, learning how to color. There's just, storytelling, and there's a lot in just even my journey as a colorist in comics and learning how to draw. And then at one point I switched to inking things too, instead of penciling them. So that was kind of also another. And then I think for the interiors, it's just, there's you have to learn how to draw so many different things, positions, storytelling, facial features, and do it quickly too. And it's definitely a hard skill, I think. As opposed, I mean, like if you compare it to game art, I mean, game art is very difficult too, for sure. But oftentimes, you work on one character, one scene. Not that it isn't hard, it's just completely different because I was doing that at one point too. It's just, yeah. I don't know. I always thought it was somewhat challenging. And it has been, but I also like the learning experience as well.
Well, it seems like you've been doing, you got your different ones. So like you've been doing your Copic markers that you had.
Yeah.
And you're talking about your black and gold series, or you've been doing the gold here lately. Yeah. And then you have your watercolors that you've done. So You
I
got
like playing around. Yeah.
a few different areas that you're dabbling in there. So.
Yes.
We have McLean. He said, Sabine, first of all, thank you for being on the live show today. We greatly appreciate you and respect you as an artist. McLean's one of our great friends. He helped us out with all our graphics. So like when we created the graphic for you saying that you were going to be on the show, he actually created it for us. So
yeah, it's very nicely done. I'm very impressed. I like it. Looks really professional, the whole.
If you ever need prints done, he's the man to talk to here in the States. He'll do prints for you. So he's got a printer that he does prints on.
Oh, cool. And what is he like, send them out to people and stuff? Or
Yeah. He
like
works
a
with several
fulfillment
artists.
Oh, cool.
I'll get you his info after the show and y'all can talk all that
Yeah,
stuff.
especially right now with the shipping issue. Because of the whole pricing jump, and I have like my art book too that's in the States that I have somebody send out for me, but everything else is here. So I've been a little bit like I've been holding people's packages because I'm like the 56 price tag on like a book that's 30. You're like, eh.
Yeah, right. So.
Yeah. So maybe this is a good time
to do something with him printing and us shipping for you or helping you out.
Yeah, that would kind of you have to adapt with the times or else make it still work.
So getting to his question, and this is a question he kind of asks on all of our shows. What is the oldest drawing tool that you own still to this day, still used possibly, that you refuse to get rid of and replace, and why?
Huh. Oldest.
He asked every artist this question.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. To think about this. I mean, like, is it some, I have some stuff that I had for a really, really, really long time, but I don't necessarily use it all the time. Does that count?
Yeah, just something that you have from long ago that you refuse to get rid of. Like for Alan Quah, it was a little $2 paintbrush that he had. And I think Ryan Kincaid, mechanical pencil. So
I do have, actually. I mean, I have this little watercolor set, and then it comes with this paintbrush. My grandmother bought it for me when I was like 17 years old, and so it's this little, it's a Winsor & Newton little watercolor set. I've used it ever since, and the brush comes with it, and I've had it since 17. Obviously, with the watercolors, you just change out the little, when it finishes. But this is, and my grandmother bought it for me. And it's very special for me.
That's awesome.
She was supporting my artistic career. My heart.
Paul said bread is awesome. That was a little while ago. Alan said, "Evening Sabine, what is your favorite cover?" So I'm assuming favorite cover that you've
ever done. Yeah.
I don't know if he's asking drawn or colored. So let's go with each. Favorite one that you've done that's solo, just Sabine. And then favorite one that you've colored.
Huh. Wow.
We're asking the hard questions today.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, I really enjoyed it. It was a watercolor cover for Joe, JP Roth for Rothic, the Rem 8 one. How would I show you? Unless I have it in this book. No, I do not. I'm trying to think.
If you have it digitally and you want to send it to me on Facebook Messenger, I can post it.
Okay, yeah, that works. It's here somewhere. So it's this watercolor one I did with Joe, and with my relationship with Joe and covers, I tend to get these like weird, Joe, let me try this, and she's like, sure, do it, and
whatever, just do it.
Yeah, so she lets me play around a bit with my. Okay, let's find it. I have to go digging somewhere.
You're fine.
There's no.
Was it REM number 7?
It's a watercolor one, and she has a sword, and it's kind of.
No, that's not this one.
I don't remember what numbers it is. I just kind of do the covers and give it to her, and then she puts it on something. Then I move on. Oh no, this is no. Messenger. Nope.
Is this it, Sabine?
Yes, that one.
Oh, it's nice.
It's definitely. I don't know. I just really. I think it was the first time I was kind of playing around. I think I did watercolors for her before, but like, was kind of a concept I had in my head, and I was like, oh, I really want to try this. And I don't know, I was super happy with how it came out. And I really like watercolors. It is really fun to work with them.
So is that your preferred medium, is watercolors?
Like as opposed to digital, or just
if you had your choice, like if someone told you can only ever use this one medium ever again, would it be the black and gold, the watercolors, digital coloring?
Oh, that's so hard. I can't give up any of them. I think what I really enjoy is the variety you get to, because like, for example, you can't always do certain things digital. I mean, like traditionally that you can do digitally. So sometimes you're like, okay, digital works really well for this concept. Other times you're like, oh, I want the more the texture and that like messy look, and watercolor kind of fulfills that. And you can't always get the same effect. And I think I do really enjoy watercolor, but then digital can do a lot of things you can't do. I can't give it up.
I just had to ask.
I know.
Brian wants to know why you agreed to come to Fan Expo and hang out with us.
You actually showed one of his questions. I was hoping we could just block him from the feed. But
Is that a real question?
I don't know. I
wanted to do a show in Texas. I haven't done one yet in Texas, so it was kind of I wanted to come to Texas, and then I had done the books with you guys, and I thought that would be a cool thing.
Exactly.
But yes, I would like to come to Texas for a show.
Well, there's the first one she did for us. That leads right into the first cover that you did for us, which is an amazing cover. Absolutely gorgeous, of Unsacred #1.
When I remember when we first originally talked about doing an Unsacred cover, Brian actually was like, well, let's see if we can get Sabine. I was like, there's no way we're going to get Sabine. She's too big for us. Yeah. And reached out to you, and you said you'd love to. And we were like, all right. And then we followed it up with a Mercy cover, which I'm just in love with that Mercy cover.
It was a good idea too. I forget who came up with it.
That was all right.
You guys suggested it, and I was like, nice.
Yeah.
It was because it was true. Everybody was doing very similar ideas, and this was definitely a unique one that kind of stood out.
Well, I think we're biased. We think it's the best one of all the Mercy covers out there. So
we have to be biased, and when we look at them, we do get that. So I have a quick question. So out of all the covers that you've done and all the work that you've done, what is your besides what was your favorite cover, what is your favorite character to draw?
Oh, another big one. Oh,
I know some artists say, like we had Tiffany Groves on the other day. She's like, Harley Quinn, hands down. She loves doing Harley Quinn. And we've had, who was it? Some other buddy said Batman. They just love when they get to do Batman commissions. So.
Yeah. Oh, is it commissions or like covers?
Either either as a commission or that you really enjoy drawing as a character.
I mean, I do enjoy Poison Ivy. Like, mm-hmm. I do draw her a lot, and I think I kind of, there's I don't know, I like the elements where you get to play with the red hair and then the ivy and the nature aspect of that. That's like, I do really enjoy that. I've also really enjoyed working on all of Mirka Endolf's books, like the one I did for you guys. Like I do enjoy her characters quite a bit. Yeah.
And Mirka is just an amazing person too. So
she's so prolific too. It's amazing. I'm like, how did she do it? She's writing books, drawing them, doing covers, going to conventions. I'm like, yeah.
So I got to follow up on Chris's question. What character have you never drawn that you would love to draw, but no one's ever asked you to do it?
Oh.
And while you're thinking about that, oh, go ahead.
like for anything, like commission or
commission, cover, whatever. Like if you were like, man, I really want to draw this character, and you just never have done it because you've been busy with other stuff and never gotten to. Bradley says, cheers and best wishes from Malaysia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's global.
Yeah,
You certainly got to grips on anatomy quickly, something artists like myself still struggle with today.
Oh, I still, I got anatomy books over there. They're my a good one. Yeah, recently I definitely use the the books and reference to make sure I get it right. Okay, character. What character?
We can come back to it if you want.
Yeah, it's like you really have to go into your head. What have you not done? What have you done?
We'll skip that one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Can
Sorry.
covers be done in traditional media? I'm an aspiring artist who would love to break into the comic world, but I suck at digital. Sabine, you're amazing, and thank you in advance for if you answer my question.
No, for sure. There's quite a few artists that work traditionally, actually. What's his name? Like, and big ones too. Addy Granova works traditionally. Even Mark Brooks, they all work traditionally. They're like Copiking and acrylics, and I've done covers that are in watercolor. What's his name?
Jay Oticello. I know he does. Jay Oticello. He does a lot of his.
Yes, him too. Yeah, for sure. In France too, like a lot of their interiors are done traditionally as well. Like a lot of them are painted and stuff. It's quite common.
I think most artists actually do traditional. I won't say all, but I mean, even like Kale and Alan, most of their covers are Alan Quah and Kale Nude. Most of their covers are done traditional, and then they color them digitally.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you don't have to. I mean, you need a good scanner, and sometimes you need to color correct. But yeah, for sure, traditional.
And then
works.
you get you an amazing colorist like Sabine, and you're good to go.
Yes, but I'm only one person.
Oh yeah, I said like Sabine. So.
Yeah.
Marty, McLean's wife. Hi Sabine, this is McLean's wife. First, it's so great to see you and meet you. Second, McLean is a huge fan and has about 90% of all your issues you've done and worked on. He's like a kid in the candy store right now. I love your work. Thank you. So, there you go.
That's so sweet. Thanks.
McLean, where do you get your inspiration from to draw, and do you work better on your art during the mornings, afternoons, or nights?
I'm definitely a night owl. And I think also the fact that I work with a lot of people stateside kind of does affect the fact that I will sometimes, like my schedule always veers to being later. I tend to wake up more around 10, 11. I'm not a morning person. It takes me, a couple hours to, sort everything else out, and then I get into work. So I usually really kind of hit my stride afternoon and then evening. Evening, it's like everything has gone quiet. I feel like I can, shut the world out and just go into it. So yeah, I'm an afternoon, evening drawer.
And when you are doing that, do you listen to music, listen to TV, or is it completely quiet?
I usually start the day with like more music. I like listening to like movies, soundtracks, and like that type of movie. That's kind of how I start the day. And then once I've kind of hit my stride, then I go into, I listen to some podcasts, and then I'll often switch to entertainment. So I'll watch some series or, movie on the side. And yeah, I like having noise. And sometimes I do audiobooks. I've done a lot of audiobooks too. It really helps me kind of shut the world out and just draw, because your brain's kind of occupied and it's entertained, and I can just go for hours just drawing and coloring and stuff.
There you go. Brandon Heyman says, in your career as an artist, was there ever a specific moment when you knew you would not have to work a day job ever again?
Yeah. I mean, I think.
When was the last time you worked a day job? Let's ask that.
I never really had a day job per se. Okay. It's kind of been more. I mean, in the beginning, it was always kind of freelancing kind of projects, always for some reason it working, maybe not super successfully, but it did work. And then, you know, you do the odd things here or there, but I don't think I ever really did what you would call a traditional, like 9 to 5, you know, non-artistic job. Art was definitely my better talent, and kind of happy it worked out, because I'm like, don't know what else to do.
We appreciate your art very much. So thank you for sticking with us, Sabine.
Thank you.
Let's see. Debbie says that your Lady Death is amazing.
Oh, thanks.
I think I actually have some Lady Deaths on here. Let me see real quick. I loaded some.
That's true. I've done quite a few Lady Death covers, and some of those ones I was really proud and happy of too.
I guess
it's fun to come up with. Was that the first? No, I think the other one was the first. There's the steampunk one and this one. So. Yeah. There was 2, and that was either my second Lady Death cover I'd ever done for Brian. Time flies.
Let's see. Paul wants to know if you would ever write and draw your own comic.
I'm not a very good writer. I think too much in pictures. Like, it plays out in my head as pictures, and the words don't come as easily. So I like pairing with a writer, like with Joe, and I'm not. I don't have that skill.
Marty wants to know what is your go-to snack?
Especially in the evenings, I tend to munch on nuts a lot. I'm a nut person. Nuts, walnuts, almonds. Yeah, I like salty snacks. I'm a real salty snack person. I would eat probably Doritos endlessly, but that's not good for you. So
yeah. Plus, you don't want the cheese on your fingers while you're trying.
Yeah. I dabble every once in a while, but yeah.
Brian's asking your favorite soundtrack to listen to.
I have a few. I really like. There are certain pieces, like I was saying, I like movie soundtracks. There's some really good ones, like. I Am Legend has one that I really like for some. It has a really good one that I like a lot of. What's the guy's name again? The German guy. He does most of the movies. What's his name? It's not James Horner. He's the other real like.
So what? So
sure.
What is your favorite movie?
Favorite movie?
Yeah.
That's hard.
For me, when it comes to soundtrack, John Williams. So.
Yes, Hans Zimmerman. Yes, him.
There you go. Thank you, William.
Yes, I really like his pieces.
Oh,
there we got it. Excellent. I knew somebody would remember. I'm so bad with names. It's like on the tip of my tongue, and I know what they look like, and I know what the pieces are. Yeah, Inception is really good. What's the other? The Gladiator. The Gladiator movie. I really like that piece. Some pieces from that. I don't know. They just have this. It feels like the music is telling a story, and I kind of like you kind of go through the motions, the triumph, the sadness, this kind of it feeds my imagination somehow by listening to that. It inspires me. Oh, so the movies. For giggles and like just to kind of have fun and watch something that's light and entertaining, I really like Pirates of the Caribbean, especially the earlier ones with Johnny Depp doing Jack Sparrow. Like especially #1, it's just, like if ever I wanted like a good mood, just to have an adventure, to have have fun. I like watching that. I really also enjoy like time, like historical pieces, where you're in a different time, and then I do like sci-fi and futuristic stuff too. I enjoy those types. Oh yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy is awesome. I enjoy that too.
I have a question.
Love the songs for that.
This is your current profile pic on your artist page.
Yes.
What's the story with this picture?
Oh, that one is the main character, Solara, in the Theory of Magic comic book. That is a Rothic book. Yes, so it's a cover for the Theory of Magic.
I was just curious if there was any special story behind it or anything like that. So that was the image they used on the trade paperback.
Yes, I think so.
Yep. I just looked it up.
Yeah.
So.
I just like how it came out. I think I bought a new set of watercolors, and then I was like trying it out on this one, and I was very happy with how the colors were vibrant.
Let's see. Dustin wants to know, do you have any Vampirilla covers in the works? And I guess that can also lead us into what do you have in the works that you can talk about, like future projects coming up, that type of stuff.
Oh yeah, Vampirilla. I think the last one I did, and I haven't done one since, was that blood-winged one. That was the last Vampirilla I did. Yes, that one. Yes. Right now, I'm doing colors for. I'm finishing up the colors for Frank Cho's. He's doing it with Awa Studios, AWA. I don't know how you say that. It's a new studio, and he's doing Fight Girl. So I'm working on the second book of that. I'm not sure when it's going to be launched, because initially it was supposed to be launched at San Diego, but since that's not happening, I'm not sure what their plan is. But I'm finishing up the second book, the second book colors for the interiors, and after that, I was going to switch to the next Rem8 for Rothic. So that would be drawing and coloring the interior. So it's a bit of a bigger project. So I was hoping to get the other stuff out of the way. And since things have kind of calmed down just a bit, it's good for me, because like, especially when like with Scott, he's taking a little bit of a break for doing other projects as well. So that's given me a bit of time to work on these larger ones, because it can get very choppy with doing a lot of colors for different people, and yeah.
So with May 4th coming up on Monday,
Yeah.
obviously you've done a few Star Wars covers in your past.
Yes.
Any plans of any new Star Wars covers?
At the moment, no. Nothing at the moment.
Sorry, I had to ask. I'm a Star Wars nerd, so I had to ask.
Those were the first ones you went pulled out and downloaded.
Those were.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm waiting for a reason to show them, so I found my reason.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a fun. I really kind of got into the background on that one. It's like, I was really proud of the background. I'm like, I know the characters came out nice, but I was like, woo.
On this one, so is there a connecting color on the left?
No.
Okay.
It's
obviously
both,
this one connects on the right.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if there was one that connected on the left.
No, it was insinuating it could technically keep going, but yeah, no, it was just a 2 set.
Okay. If there was a third one, I had to track it down. That's why I didn't know.
Yeah.
Alan, what's your favorite? And I assume that's pronounced Gast House?
I have no idea what that
Berlin?
is.
I don't. Alan, we're going to need some clarification on what that is.
I'm a bad.
He's a bad Berliner.
Yes. I'm a bad French too.
McLean, what inspires you to draw and color? Where did you pull most of your inspiration from?
The internet? No. Like everything or anything in particular?
Just what inspires you to draw is what it said. McLean, we're going to need more details.
Oh, he'll give detail,
Yeah, he'll come back. Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah, maybe like. I mean, I was always drawing and coloring, so I don't know.
Ryan Palmer wants to know how difficult it is to find decent Mexican food there in Berlin.
Very.
Yeah.
I did a show at convention in Mexico. I forget, like maybe 2 years back, I feel. I got invited. And the food is so good. And they have some places here, but it's not right. Unfortunately, I mean, I can probably like make it better myself. And I'm like, this is more authentic. Yeah, and you guys in Texas have really good Mex too. I mean, Mexican food.
Mm-hmm.
I
when
definitely
when you come,
miss,
we'll make sure to take you to a Mexican place.
yeah.
Um,
They don't
let's
do
see.
it justice here.
William said you would probably like the soundtrack to the video game Witcher 3. So let him into the question: do you have a favorite video game, if any, that you play?
I used to. I don't currently game very much, but like I used to be a Call of Duty gamer. I like the first-person shooters. Like, loved. So that was Call of Duty number 4. So that was a while ago. That was like the last time I played Call of Duty, but it was very fun. Used to do it like with a group of friends, and it was kind of every Friday night social thing. I enjoyed that.
James wanted to comment and say it's just not the same talking about that Mexican food. So
Yes, agreed. And
McLean
Mexico has so much variety too that
yes.
you don't get so much.
McLean did follow up and say, okay, just to draw. When you sit down to draw, where do you pull most of your inspiration from?
I definitely have like an ongoing Pinterest board that I'm constantly, like on Facebook, you have cosplayers that are great. They're a great source of reference, for poses. Sometimes they have really interesting lighting. Sometimes it's, and so I have, and I have categorized, and then sometimes I see like somebody's really unique or amazing colors that kind of help push you beyond what you like. If you don't have outside influences, you tend to kind of keep yourself, and what is possible is in your head is kind of limited. Whereas when you explore other people's work, especially if it's something that like you're like, wow, I would never think to do that with a color, I tend to put that also in a color folder. I have, fashion and design has like some really wacky sort of, design concepts and interesting things that you can take elements of that kind of inspire you or that you can play off of. So I collect a lot of, and then sometimes just things that are like, the lighting and stuff that can inspire you also. And then, reference from nature, just kind of pulling from a lot of different sources. So you get this very broad idea board, you could say, like, and then when you come to work, you can pull things from it. And yeah, I sometimes get inspired and I'm like, oh, that's something I would like to try out. And then I'll pull, try that the next time. I like
I'm sorry.
feeding your creativity and imagination with outside sources and different things. Yeah, I think that
I'm kind of just following along with that. Brandon said, what other artists do you look to for inspiration? So you're talking about you have your folders of different stuff.
Yeah.
Are there any particular artists that you kind of look to?
For sure. I mean, I tend to also follow different artists for different skills. Like there's some artists that, especially like I only started like inking my work and getting into inking. It's been a couple years, and I'm not used to like filling in blacks or because I'm used to rendering things in color. So to switch to like blocking in black parts and being comfortable with that. So I've collected a few artists that I kind of use as like kind of to look at their work and see how they do it so I can improve. I'm trying to think quickly. I have some really good inkers that I would, trying to remember the names. I might have to look. My name. Of ghosts, we have yeah. Sorry. No, I have like Matteo Scaliera. He's this Italian artist. I see him at conventions and I take his books and he uses like so much black. So that's something I kind of look at to see how somebody would use ink and black. And then and then there's also the really good artist Sean Murphy. Like I love his ink work too. There's who else?
Yeah, and then Pan Expo.
Oh yeah. His
Yeah.
work is amazing. I got the Tokyo Ghost one, and I was just so, they're, yeah. Again, because it's something I'm like trying to push myself in, the inking and the blacks. I'm nowhere like near where I want to be as far as like use of it, but it helps for me to look at those things when I work, and then I kind of see how they approach different things and how they fill them out, how they treat it with texture and lighting to create. So that's one thing. And then colors, I also like to use different sources too. So sometimes I'll look at game artist colors, or not gamers, because they tend to try and do things like quite dramatic and light sources and stuff like that. So I'll collect stuff from, yes, that name, Sean Gordon Murphy. Different sources. Yeah, sometimes it's not one person in particular. Sometimes it's kind of like a style. So I'll like, it's so hard to actually be. My brain also goes kind of blank when I have to think of names, unfortunately.
Oh, you're
and there's
fine.
of course Scott Campbell. I have all his art books too. There's a lot of information in how he does lines, how he creates. And then even working coloring Frank Cho and Scott Campbell and some of these, Ebas and all these really good artists, I feel like I learn a lot just from having to color them, how they, I'm staring at it for hours. You see how they use I don't know. I feel like it does teach me something to color these guys for sure. A lot to learn.
So you talked about how you've colored like Frank Cho and
Yes.
obviously J. Scott Campbell and Ebas and even Mike Chrome.
Mike Chrome, Atomic Teague.
Who is an artist that you haven't colored for that you would like to color for? Not you, Chris.
I think, I do. I really like Kenneth Rockefeller's work too. That would be cool. And I really, also these guys that like Kenneth Rockefeller, and then there's this other, he's a French artist, but he works, Olivier Coupiel. He works for DC and Marvel mainly, but he also did his own book. But their work is just like, I collect their comic books also to learn off of them. But I'd love to color their work, but they also color their own work, and they're very skilled painters too. And I'm like,
Maybe one day they'll post just the inked work and let you download it and color it. So.
Yeah, there's something. Yeah, I really admire their work. I enjoy.
Ann says, who are some of the current comic book artists, pencilers, inks, interior that you enjoy reading?
I honestly don't get around to reading many comics. I think it's partially because sometimes it's hard to access them. They have comic book shops here, but it's not the same. I have the Tokyo Ghost. When I go to conventions, sometimes I can get some of the hard copies. I did read Mirka's Unnatural one. I think that was the last one I read at the moment. But sometimes it's just so hard to kind of stay on top of it all. There's just so much. I'm not very good at keeping track of all the books. Was that the right?
I think,
Did I answer the question? I also have like French comic books that I try and collect too. I want to get more of them. There's some.
Did you see Bradley's question?
That's the one I just asked.
Yeah, that's kind of like, okay.
Yep. So, my final question I think I have is, if you could draw one character in the Spider-Man universe, so Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, Silk, those characters, who would be your favorite one in that universe to draw?
I do quite like Silk. I did get to do a cover of her.
Yes, you did.
There's something about.
I don't. That was a Frankie's exclusive that you did for Kevin.
Yeah, that was my first ever Marvel cover. Woo! Well, that I didn't color. Only do the colors on that I got to draw. So I was like, hey.
Yeah, because you did it all. Drew it, inked it, and colored it, right?
Yeah, and it was funny because when I got the email, I initially was like, huh? What? Did they? Because the person that usually communicates with me is always asking, oh, can you color this? Can you color that? Can you color that? And it was like, can you draw this? And I was like, what? Double take? And I was like, are they asking me to draw? Oh my God. And it was really busy time for me. It was like when that cover happened, I was like, I had already had slotted like a bunch of covers, and it was like, I can't say no to this, but I was just like 9 to 5, just like focused, getting it done. And it was a really fast turnover too. I think I had like 2 days to do it. But yeah, I had to jump on the opportunity. So
It's a beautiful book. I think we actually have some there in store, Chris, sitting over on the exclusive shelf.
woo, awesome.
We do.
We brought them in to get you to sign them at Fan Expo. So let's see. We can start a pull list forward. Great question. I have to run, but this has been awesome. Thanks for being so generous with your time. Thanks to the guys.
This is fun. Normally, I would also be attending some convention, so this is a kind of a substitute. You know, it's nice. It's nice to engage with the whole comic industry, etc., and people that are part of it.
Paul said, "Sad when Albert passed away." I believe that's when we were talking about that, either right when the show started or before the show started. So, all right, Chris, you have any more questions you'd like to ask me?
No, I'm good. I'm good. She answered everything. This has been awesome. So
Yeah.
You know, one thing I will ask real quick. I know. So you're in Berlin right now.
Yes.
If you are living in Berlin, what is your country of choice to where you would want to live, other than Berlin?
What is what?
Country of
Where would you like to live other than Berlin? So if you had
Oh,
any
if I had a
place in the
choice.
world, yeah, where would you want to live besides Berlin?
Oh. So much choice. No. I think I would. I mean, this is more like not so much a place as opposed to like somewhere near a beach.
Mhm.
Like even on the Mediterranean, it is really nice. Maybe somewhere like, you know, Croatia or Greece, or I mean, maybe not Greece. That might be a little bit too far down. But like the Croatia, that whole area, I went to Dubrovnik one summer, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. I really enjoy being near the sea. I think there's something super relaxing and therapeutic about it. Yeah, some coast, or even, you know, an Italian coast, French coast, along the Mediterranean. Maybe that would be my wish.
All right, we'll give the last question here to Ching, who says, "Do you have a favorite X-Men character, and whom would you like to draw or color?"
X-Men character. Like just for fun or as a commission? I was considering saying Jean Grey. I do enjoy it, especially because you have so many different versions of her. Like you could do the dark one, the gold. You know, she has so many iterations. Kind of, yeah. And I just finished doing a black and gold one for as a commission.
Nice.
Just finished this as of today.
Nice.
Did it go?
Nope, I made you large.
Okay, I was like, what? Yeah, so this is going to be sent off to one of the people that clicked on it. Yeah, and oh yeah. Yeah, because you can do a fire, especially it will work really well in watercolor. I've yet to do like a proper one, and one day I want to do a good, you know, the fire and the water and the hair. It's like.
So have you done one like this for Jean Grey yet?
Well, I did that one. There was one that I posted. No, it's a recent one that I did for the Creators for Comics.
Okay.
That got auctioned off to help support. And what's his name? Got it. Paul Leslie. He's the proud owner of it.
Paul, who's been hanging out in here with us. Congratulations.
Yeah, Paul's a big fan.
There's Paul. Love to see some more Jubilee. She doesn't seem to be featured anymore. I grew up with the cartoon. Yeah, Jubilee doesn't get much love, so.
There's so many characters. Like, I think I've learned the most of all the different characters that I never knew existed before, just from going to the conventions and having people, commission you. I'm like, I've never heard of that character before.
Go look it up.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's going to do it for us. We're right at the hour mark, and we try not to take up too much of your time, but
Last hour.
This has been fun.
It flew by.
Yeah, we try to kind of give you this opportunity. If there's anything you want to say to the fans watching or anything, this is your floor. It's all you. So whatever you'd like to say before we sign off.
Oh yeah, so I do have, I had initially closed my online store Envy for a week because I had to figure out how to deal with this price jump in the shipping. So now I have a banner there that you can read that you're still welcome to buy stuff. I will probably keep it on hold. I did put a 15% discount for the month of May to make it, to thank you guys for buying and putting up with the difficult situation. I also I've added some new prints, and everything will be kept safe and packed until the situation kind of works itself out. If your package is like more of an expensive one, you can always communicate with the address that is given to, and we can work things out. We're happy to. I have a friend that helps me with the communication for it, but we're happy to answer you any questions or concerns, etc. And I will try and open up some more commission slots on the site. Anyway, thank you guys for liking my work too. I appreciate it.
Well, we thank you for taking time and joining us and hanging out. It's been great.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll get conventions going together again. So
yes, I'm looking forward to
love to get to here
there and hang out and
absolutely.
see you guys in person.
If we end up having one, if we end up having one, we'll get with you and see about trying to get you over here for sure.
Yeah.
So
I do want to do a show in Texas. I've never done it yet, so that's awesome.
And we'll even if you need to bring Dawn along and have her hang out, we'll all go have Mexican food. All right. Well, thank you again, Sabine.
Thanks, Sabine.
Thank you guys, have a good afternoon.
You too.
Enjoy your day and enjoy coffee time with Pastime Comics and Collectibles.